Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel, Made with Love. My name is Heather and today is Monday, October 10th, 2002. That means here in Canada today is Thanksgiving Day. So I am standing in my kitchen. I am making my Thanksgiving dinner. So I've already got my ham in the slow cooker. I've got my chicken in the sink. I'll just have to put that in the oven in a few minutes. And I've just got, my daughter helped me yesterday. We got all the veggies all peeled and chopped and everything. So I'm just gonna start bringing the veggies out to show you what I'm cooking and how I'm going to prepare everything. So I'll just be right back. Okay, I've got everything pulled out in front of me now, and I've even got my list of what I'm making for Thanksgiving dinner. So like I said, I've got the ham on the slow cooker already. I've got the chicken. I'm gonna keep saying chicken. I got the turkey soaking in the sink. I'm just gonna be getting that prepped to roast that in the oven. I'm also making my stuffing, gravy, cranberry sauce, 2 types of potatoes. I've got carrots and beets, rutabaga, asparagus. Is that everything on my list? I think so. Oh, cranberry sauce. That was the other one. So, like I said, yesterday, me and my daughter, we spent most of yesterday after church peeling and chopping all the veggies and everything. So I've got everything in bowls ready to go. My daughter even labeled everything as to what they were. So I've got everything laid out in front of me. So I'm just going to flip the camera onto the other side so you can see me do the turkey. Alright, so I've got my turkey here. I've got it all rinsed. I'm just going to give it one final rinse to fine. Sitting in the sink for a little bit. It's been in the fridge for I think 4 days for sure. It might be 5 days now, sitting in the fridge to defrost. I'm just going to put it in the roasting pan. Grab some paper towel. And I'm just going to just get some of the excess moisture off. I've seen some people dry it. I do like the turkey to be moist. I do want a little bit of moisture on the skin, but I don't want it where it's dripping wet. I don't stuff my turkeys. If you want to, you can. I like to make my stuffing on the side. So now I've got my meat thermometer here. Just gonna plug this into find the thickest part of the turkey here. Don't want to hit the bone, but I want to get it thrown right inside. And I've got tin foil here. I do wash and reuse my tin foil. Some people don't like to do that. I like to. If I can get a couple uses out of a piece of tin foil, I will try to do that. It depends what I'm cooking. If I'm cooking chicken or turkey, it's usually like a one-time use. So I think after I cook this turkey, this tin foil will be thrown in the recycling bin. Just gonna make sure it's all wrapped in here good. Just gotta make sure I keep the thermometer straight out. I've got my oven preheated to 425 on convection roast. I'm just gonna put my turkey in the oven. Plug in my meat thermometer and turn it on. It needs new batteries. I'm just making sure that the alert is on, and I'm turning it to turkey. So it says when it should be done when the internal temperature is 180 degrees Fahrenheit. Right now it's telling me that my turkey is between 39 and 41. It's flashing between the two. So Okay. Now I'm saying low temperature. That happens when it registers below room temperature. So I've now got the turkeys in the oven. So right here beside me, camera around so you can see. Right here beside me is my ham. It's in the slow cooker. It's quite a big ham. I had to cut it up a little to fit in the slow cooker. I'm going to actually do a honey glaze for it. I'm going to let that cook for a little while longer. I don't know why I just took the lid off. I think I was just trying to make sure the lid was on properly, just making sure that it's, because it still wasn't quite down, so now I know the lid is down. That means the meat has cooked a little bit and sunk in the pan, which is good. So I will just, now I've got to start on, I think the stuffing will be the next thing I will be making. All right, I'm going to start prepping my dressing, stuffing. So what I got here is I got this bag. These were croissants. That's what they were. They were croissants that we had for dinner a couple months ago for dinner, and they got left out overnight, not covered, so they really dried out. So I just cubed them and put them in the freezer, and they make really good stuffing. So they're defrosted and ready for stuffing. I'm just breaking a couple. These are just a little bit too big. And then here I have a cornbread that I had actually baked yesterday. So I'm just going to get this out of the pan. I'm just going to start to cube this up. Cut it up a little bit smaller pieces here. So just nice, like bite-sized cubes. And then I'll be adding my seasoning and onions, and then I'll just be letting this just sit out and just sit out on the counter and kind of dry up a little bit more, because this cornbread was just made yesterday afternoon, so it's still really, really fresh. But I like a mix of dry bread and fresh bread in my stuffing. It gives a really nice texture. I'm just going to keep slicing this up, but I'll do that in a second. But I will show you for my spices that I will add to my dressing. Just gotta grab both my spice racks here just so I can find what I need. So I got rosemary, so I find everything. Poultry, celery salt, those are empty. So that. I'm just gonna grab these out of here, and then I'll tell you what I'm putting in here. Some of these jars are actually empty, so I'm gonna have to check and see if I have any in my pantry. But what I like to add to my stuffing is sage, marjoram, tarragon, rosemary, poultry seasoning, cilantro, celery salt, parsley, basil, oregano, thyme, and chives, and of course salt. And I really love using my Himalayan pink salt for baking. I'm gonna double check the pantry and see if I have these ones that are empty. All right, I went through my bag of extra spices, and I don't have any of these, but I'm just gonna pour whatever's in the jars in here, and whatever I get, I get. So now I can't use all this for my dressing. I'm going to have to save some of this for my gravy mix. I'm just going to use up these almost empty jars first. You know it's time to go get spices when half your spice jars are empty. It was on my list of things I had to do, just haven't had time. But one thing is, I know the next time I cook with the spices, everything is going to be fresh. Okay, so that was the sage, thyme, parsley, basil, oregano, cilantro, and chives, and that's all I got in here with those ones. So now I got to be careful what I add of these ones. Okay, I've got some rosemary. I don't want to overdo it on some of these other spices. There's my rosemary. I buy both the ground stuff and the whole, and I don't, or the flaked or whatever, I don't see the difference between either one. I like to grind mine as I use them anyways, but some people, if you don't have a grinder, it's better to always try to get the ground. For freshness, I don't think there's any difference in the freshness when you buy them already ground up or not and you grind them yourself. I just find whatever the store has is what I buy. I buy my spices from mostly from the bulk barn, so I only buy like just a few, you know, a small scoop at a time, enough to probably fill this jar about twice. And some of the spices only cost me like 50-80 cents to be able to fill this jar twice. Give this a good grind. Smelling good. I do have two of these little mortar and pestle bowls. I've got this little small one, which is usually what I like to use, and then I've got the big one. And I'm using the big one just because I don't have a lot of the spices, so I'm making up my spices for both my gravy and my dressing at the same time. I don't know. A knife just fell into the glass dish. I don't know how that happened. Okay. I must have bumped it when I was moving some stuff. Okay, there we go. So that's all nicely ground. I'm going to sprinkle some in here. I'm going to save the other half for my gravy. Set it aside. Now I've got this. This is the stuffing. And I've got my onions for in here too, and celery. So I'm just going to pour the onions over top. Now I need a bigger dish to do this. Don't think I have a larger dish at the moment. Then I will be mixing this into my roasting pan soon anyways, but I just want to start to get this stuff kind of put in here. So this is my stuffing. So I said it was a pack of croissants that were left out and dried. I've got my pan of my cornbread that I had made, my spices, half a stalk of celery, and 1 or 2 onions. I forget how many. Two onions. My daughter chopped them up. She's standing beside me. Okay, so that will be my stuffing all ready to go. I just gotta stir it when I get it all into the pan. I'm gonna be putting it in the oven. I'll be flipping the camera over so you can watch me start doing the potatoes. Actually, I decided I better finish the stuffing. So I've got my 2 little mini roasting pans here. I'm just gonna put half of the stuff in one and half in the other, and then get this in the oven. I've got 2 small roasting pans of stuffing. So I'm just gonna take a pinch of this and just shake some on top of here, just so I know both of them got some flavoring. Mix it around, get that flavoring going on all the bread. Just trying to even out the onions too. I don't want a big clump of onions in one pan. There. Okay, so I'm just going to put the lids on these and put these in the oven. Not quite sure how long it's going to take for these to roast or to cook. There is my stuffing. I will add some liquid to this too. I'll probably add about I'll get these started cooking, and I'll probably add about a 1/4 cup of liquid in about half an hour once they start toasting. So now I will flip the camera around and start the potatoes. Okay, so we are making 2 types of potatoes. One is mashed potatoes. So in here I've got the water starting to boil with the potatoes. And the other ones we're just going to do pan fried with a bit of olive oil and salt. Nice layer. And whatever potatoes that I don't cook, I will be using up later this week because I've got some other veggies I have to use up. So I'm going to be making a hearty veggie soup. One of those ones that I can make ahead and freeze type dinners. I've got a nice, out of frame. Can't see what I'm doing. Sorry. Okay, so I got baking sheet here, and I'm just putting a nice layer of the potatoes on here. And then on this one, same thing. I'm going to put these in the oven. I've got this one here. This is a mix of beets and carrots. Not as many carrots as I thought I was going to have, but that happens sometimes. My beets and carrots. These ready to put in the oven as well. I just have to wait till the turkey's done, but I'm just trying to get everything ready. I don't have many carrots, but I have a lot of beets and potatoes, and then I've got Brussels sprouts and rutabaga as well to start cooking. I'm going to have to grab my other pan. Yeah, they're in the other room. So I'm just telling my daughter where the other pans were put, so I had to move them out of my way. And this here we've got Brussels sprouts and onions. Brussels sprouts and onions on here. I just like a variety of root veggies kind of cooked in the oven with, did I get some? Oh, just a chunk of onion.
You want the rutabaga
And the rutabaga, same thing. My daughter's gonna pour the rutabaga out. Just like I like the onions and Brussels sprouts kind of cooked together. It gives the Brussels sprouts a different flavor. I have to say, I've never actually cooked the Brussels sprouts with the onions. I just think it was just something different to try. Because I have cooked Brussels sprouts with some other stuff, and I did like the way they tasted. So I'm just gonna grab the oil. I don't know if this is the pure olive oil or if this is the mix of olive oil and regular oil. Well, this is the mix, that's okay. Just a little bit of oil.
Put the rest of
Yes. Yep.
the rest of the potatoes.
Oh, yeah, sure. Put the potatoes in the other pan.
The rest of the rutabaga and potatoes.
Sure. And then I just need the sea salt.
There's no rutabaga on the floor.
What if I took the lid off? Now these are ready to go.
Pour dressing.
Oh, you need some more pan space? Oh, I'll move the Brussels sprouts over and I got some more pan space here. Oh, we're just gonna cook these. Just gotta wait for the turkey, but we got everything else all now prepped and ready to put in the oven. So I will be back when we're ready to put all the prep veggies into the oven. Alright, so I'm going to show you how I make my extra creamy mashed potatoes. I got my potatoes cooked. And in here I've got about a quarter to a third cup of melted butter and about half a cup of 35% whipping cream. So if I had sour cream I would add that, but I don't have, or you can do anything else that's going to give it a good creamy, just even regular milk. But I like the melted butter and the whipping cream. So I guess my butter wasn't quite as melted as I thought it was going to be, but that's okay. It's already poured in top of the potatoes and finished melting. And I'll add more cream or more butter as I need, or milk, or whatever you want to use. I sometimes use, I guess it's sour cream. Anything just to get the really nice fluffy potatoes. I always find if you warm up your milk and melt the butter before you add it, it just makes it mix in a lot better. So I'm going to say for the amount of potatoes I've got, I'm going to need more cream and more butter. But I always start with just about a quarter of a cup or a third of a cup of butter and half a cup of my milk. I always find that's just a good ratio to start with. I'm just going to mix these up. I do need more butter and some more cream. So I'm just going to get another scoop of butter. I'm not even really measuring, I'm just, just doing a big scoop of the butter, and I'm just going to pour more of the whipping cream in. But I need the rest of this whipping cream to make my whipped cream. I'm just going to put this in the microwave for about 30 seconds. And just keep mashing. That next scoop of butter and whipped cream in here is going to make them really fluffy. one that bends. I don't know why I don't get rid of it. These are cakes. Just want to get all the whipping cream and butter off there as much as possible. Potatoes are mashed and whipped good. I mean, I know some people can even put in the stand mixer or use the little immersion blender or anything like that to kind of help mix the potatoes. I just like to use just a good old potato masher. I think it does the job pretty good. So I'm just going to mix this for a few more minutes, but I think my potatoes are well and mashed. So now I'm going to, I think the turkey is still cooking and I've got everything else prepped and ready. I think I'll be back when I come back. I'll be making the buns. All right, my alarm is beeping telling me that my turkey is cooked, so I've just got it sitting here in the oven door. I'm just going to lift the tin foil back and it is cooked perfectly. I'm just gonna take the thermometer out. I'm just gonna stick it in somewhere else just to double check the temperature. And yeah, it's done. It's flashing still above 180 degrees Fahrenheit. Click somewhere else. So yep, the turkey is done. So I will be taking the turkey out and I will be putting all those trays of veggies in the oven and I will be back in a few moments. Okay, here is my ham. I'm just gonna peek in to see how it's doing. It's looking good. The ham has been cooking since 8:30. It is now just after 11:30. Is that right? 11:30? Oh, it's 11:40. So it's been on here for a couple hours, so it's almost done. Now to this, I just took some leftover couple jars of honey and just coated this with honey. I will be adding, be making my maple glaze, but I just wanted to get some flavoring in first. So then I've got this, and then here are the two things of stuffing. They kind of got left in the oven just a couple minutes longer than I expected to, so they're a little bit toasty, but that's okay. I'll stir those around and cook and get those finished cooking. And then in my oven here, I've got all the trays of veggies in here. So I've got potatoes, rutabaga, beets, carrots, Brussels sprouts, and onions. And then there's my mashed potatoes, and the turkey is done. The stuffing is almost finished. So next, I think I'm going to start doing the gravy and cranberry sauce. But before I do that, I gotta start the buns. So I'll be right back with the stuff to make the buns. All right, I'm back. I'm now gonna get ready to make my buns. Move my recipe just over a second. Thought I was ready. Now I'm ready. So I've got 1 cup of warm water. And I've got 2 tablespoons of melted butter. I'm just gonna add the butter in to give this a good whisk. And I've got half a cup of milk. And I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons of honey. This is a tablespoon, just making sure I'm grabbing the right one. 2 tablespoons of honey. My honey has kind of crystallized on me, but it's still good. I'm dripping honey everywhere. Just going to give this a good whisk, and then I'm going to put this in the microwave to heat up for just like a minute or so. a minute to get this honey melted in here and get warmed up, and I'll just be right back. Okay, so now I've got everything all warmed up, ready to add the yeast to this. So I've got my stand mixer all ready. Pour this in here. Don't want it boiling, but you want it hot enough so the yeast will do what it's supposed to do. And then to this, I have to add just making sure, it is 1 tablespoon of yeast. So I've got my half tablespoon measure here. Sprinkle it in, half and another half, so that's 1 tablespoon. Just got to give this 5 minutes to activate, and then I will be adding in the flour and the salt. So I've just got to give this a few minutes. I'll be back in about 5 minutes. All right, so I've got this. Let me grab the spoon. Just got to stir this. You can see, yeah, it all did what it's supposed to do. The activated yeast. So now to this, I have to add salt and the flour, and I just realized I don't have the salt in front of me. I thought I had everything. I guess I just forgot to grab the salt because I hadn't needed the salt right this second. But so to this, I'm adding 1 teaspoon of salt. I use the sea salt or kosher salt. I don't know. I just buy whatever I get at the dollar store. And then you also need to add, it's between 3.5 and 4 cups of flour. Okay, so I'm just gonna start with adding my flour, and then as I do this, I'm gonna start with 3 cups. I know it says you need 3.5 to 4 cups, but I like to start with 3 cups just to see how it goes. And then to do this, I always go a little bit more, and then you just level off. It's in here. And I've got my bread hook on. Lock this into place. Let's see. It's been a while since I've done this, so I just need it on low. I'm just going to put it on 2 for now. Move the flour a little closer to me so I don't spill. I usually sift my flour, and I forgot to grab my sifter. And then I do have the sifter that attaches, and I just didn't feel like pulling it out for just making a little bit of bread. I know I probably should have, but just showing people that, you know, you don't have to always sift. You don't have to use, like, if you don't have a stand mixer, you can mix this by hand. You can use other things. I'm just using my stand mixer today because I don't have too often that I get to pull it out, and I've never made any bread recipe in this yet. So this is my first bread recipe in my stand mixer. I've got 4 cups. Remember how many cups I've added? I don't remember. Oh, this is 3rd cup. This is the 3rd cup. I'm going to start with the 3 cups. I'm going to turn this up just a little bit higher just to get this mixed in. I'm just going to scrape the sides down a little. Starting to make a nice ball of dough. And it's really starting to smell like bread. I don't think I need any more flour. I think that's enough flour. So I'm just wondering if I put in the 3 cups or if I did do 4. I lost count while talking. But there, it looks good. It's pulled away from the bowl. So I'm going to stop it for a second and lift this up and see how it's mixing. Oh, it's really nice. It all came out in one nice big blob. So now I'm just going to get a separate, actually I'm going to keep it in this bowl. I just don't feel like making too many dishes. So I'm just going to have to cover this and let it rise. So when it rises, I will be back and we'll be ready for the next step. Scissors. Alright, so now I'm going to make my gravy and cranberry sauce at the same time. So in this pot right here, I've already got 6 cups of water. I am making gravy. I make it from the pouches. I will add drippings and my own spices in a little bit. But I like to just start with this as a good start of gravy. I've tried making gravy from scratch and it's always gets kind of lumpy or greasy and I don't like it. Oops. Don't want to do that. So with these pouches, it's 1 pouch for 1 cup of water. So like I said, I've already got 6 cups of water in my pot. I'm just going to add my 6 pouches of gravy and just have to whisk it and get it to a boil, and it takes about 5 or so minutes. Figure at the same time I can get my cranberry sauce made, because it takes about the same amount of time. And then if I'm going to stand here stirring things for trying to figure out what timer's going off. Okay. It's not a timer I have set for in the kitchen, so okay. Like I said, if I'm going to be standing here in the stove stirring things for 5 minutes, I might as well make both the gravy and the cranberry sauce at the same time. So there is the gravy. And then for the cranberry sauce, I don't have it turned on yet because I'm not quite ready to do that. Stir so it's all mixed in here. And then my cranberry sauce, I'm going to grab one of these just so I've got it in front of me so I don't throw them out, because I've done it before. Throw all these out and then I forget how many minutes. So for my cranberry sauce, I'm actually just using these bags of cranberries. Pour them in here. Pour it into, just put all the ingredients in a pot, bring to boil. Okay, so I'm making 2 pouches of the cranberries. So for every pouch, it's 1 bag cranberries. These bags are 340 grams. To this, you add 200 mils of water and 2 cups of sugar. And I just realized that I have to rinse the cranberries. I just see stuff. Okay. So I'm just going to put the cranberries into here and rinse. Okay. And while that's rinsing, I'm just going to start on making the sugar water. So it's 200 mils, but I'm making double batch. So I've got 400 mils of water. And I need 2 cups of sugar. Cups of sugar. Wipe this off. Take the sugar off the stove, because if I turn it on, I'm going to get the burnt sugar smell. Okay. Now I'm going to turn both my burners on now. Yep. And dropped things. Okay, and then also to this, it says to add some lemon juice as well. So I'm just gonna grab my lemon juice. Just squeeze in some lemon juice. Sometimes I use orange juice. I don't have any orange juice, so I'm just gonna use the lemon juice. I'm just gonna grab a spoon and start to stir this. Okay, so put all ingredients in large saucepan, bring to boil, let boil until berries start to pop, and then you let cool. Very easy to do. I'll add my cranberries back in 1 second. This is in a saucepan. Combine your water and gravy mix, bring to a boil over medium heat, stirring constantly, and then you simmer for 1 minute. So I said within just like 5 minutes, I'm gonna have both my gravy and my cranberry sauce made. And I'm supposed to stir that constantly, but I gotta get the cranberries poured in here. And I always just double check that I've read everything and I'm doing it right, especially when I'm making a couple things at the same time. So I'm just going to let all this come to a boil, and I will be back when the gravy and the cranberry sauce is made. Alright, so there's my gravy. It's done. It just took a few minutes. I'm going to take this off the burner now so I don't burn it. And then here is the cranberry sauce. The cranberries have started to pop and it's all boiling. Now I'm just going to let this cool down, and as it cools, it thickens. My stove is turned off. Now, I've got my gravy and the cranberry sauce all made. While these were cooking, I also checked on the stuff in the oven, so in a few more minutes, I got the beets and carrots, they're already out, and so are the Brussels sprouts and onions, they're already out. It's just the potatoes and rutabaga are not quite cooked. And I put in the last tray. I had one more tray and it was half potatoes and half rutabaga. So I got that tray now put in the oven. That's probably going to take about 40 minutes for those to cook. So another 10 minutes for the potatoes and rutabaga that are already in the oven. Another 40 minutes for the pan I just put in the oven. The bread is looking really good, the buns are looking really good. I can see that it has risen. It's almost ready for the next step. Another 10 minutes, I think. That's what the timer said for that. Mashed potatoes are done. Let's see, I'm just going through making sure. So I just have to do the salad, and the asparagus. So I guess I will be back in just a few moments and I will do the asparagus. Alright, so I was just moving the gravy into the serving dish, and then I remembered, or I saw, that I forgot to add the spices that I had blended up. So I'm just going to add my spice mix here. That's also what makes your gravy, even if you do like a store-bought canned or gravy mix, you add in your own spices, then you can say you made the gravy, because I mean you blended the spices, and then like I said, I will be adding some of the turkey drippings to this as well. They're not added in the spices. So I usually add those in while it's cooking, not at the end, but there was just so much stuff on the counter, I just kind of didn't see it sitting there until I started putting other items away, just clearing up some space, because like I said, I'm gonna do the asparagus and the salad, and then it will be time to finish the buns. So I will be back in just a few moments with the asparagus. Alright, my asparagus is really easy to do. I've already washed this, I've already cut the ends off, so it's already been prepped. And it's well wrapped here. Now, for this, I do a lot of fresh vegetables, so I have these little microwavable dishes for microwave cooking. Trying to find Orca. They're made by Orca. I bought these at either at Sears or Eaton's, I don't remember, but anyways, both of those stores are gone, and I haven't seen these at any other stores, but I cook my asparagus fresh in the microwave so they'd be more steamed. So I just cut them in half, just so they fit nicely in my little veggie cooker here, or veggie steam basket, or whatever you want to call it. Just kind of put them in here, so nice. And then I just kind of put the lid on. And as they cook, the lid will give it a nice seal. And then I will just put it in my microwave. Just 1 second, and I will bring my phone over so you can see my settings. All right, I'm going to show you how easy it is to make my salads. So I buy these mixed green bags of salad all the time. I pour it into my bowl. This one is a mix of iceberg and green leaf lettuce, carrots, and red cabbage. Put that in. I also have, I always buy these little containers of the grape tomatoes. I'm going to shake some of these in. Just blend it up. And I also buy these. These are the pre-made salads. This one is just, it's a large house salad. It was $8 and then it was 30% off. So this looks like I get different types of lettuce, spinach, red and green peppers. Oh, I thought it was a piece of plastic. Oh, just onion skin. Okay. Cucumbers. Again, some more of the grape tomatoes and some shredded carrots. So I'm just going to pour this in. I want to keep some of these peppers and stuff so it's easier to get them mixed at the top. Yeah, it looks like arugula and spinach. Just a good toss. I'm going to move some of these green stuff over to this side. I'm just going to give it a good toss and mix. There we go. Nice salad here. I'm going to add the rest of these little tomatoes on top. And I have a bag of croutons. Using lettuce. I'm going to cut open the bag of croutons. And I have celery cut too, so I'll be adding the celery. I just forgot to grab it out of the fridge. Oops, lost a couple of croutons on the floor. But there we go. There is the nice salad ready to go. Sometimes it's handy with dinners like this when you're making for lots of people or just feel rushed. Just buy some of these pre-made salad mixes. I will buy a couple different kinds of these. They're only like $3. I'll buy 2 or 3 different kinds and mix a couple bags together. Croutons are always a good staple to have because you can throw them in. And same with these pre-made salads. They're a pretty good idea. And anything else you like to add to your salads. It kind of keeps the cost down. It makes it, having some of the pre-made salads does keep the cost down. I know right now the salad or the lettuce that I normally buy is almost $6 for a single head of lettuce. So if I were to go and buy the lettuce and the thing of spinach are usually about, I think they're over $5 for a container of spinach. Right there, I'm like well over what it cost me to make this. I do know that the box of these tomatoes were $6. That's about the average price right now. But I think I saved money by buying these mixes because I just need a little bit of salad for tonight. So I'll stir in the celery and my salad is made. Now I've heard my microwave, so in 1 second I will bring out the asparagus and show you what it looks like. Okay, so I've got the asparagus out. Here's what the steamed asparagus will look like. I guess I need to find a smaller container for serving, but there we go. There's the asparagus. And I'll be doing my buns in 1 minute. All right, I think my ham is done. It's been on high since about 8:30. It's now almost 2 o'clock. So I'm going to just lift it up. I've got my platter here. I've got my little meat fork things. I'm just gonna lift the ham up, and it's sliding right off the bone. Oh.
Do you know?
When it starts to slide off the bone, I know it's done. Looks perfect. Now I did have to slice, I'm just gonna get a regular fork. I did have to slice the ham to fit it in my slow cooker. The bone on here was just too high and I couldn't get the lid to shut. But it doesn't ruin anything, it just makes it easier to cook. And look at that, it's just sliding right off the bone, and I'm trying to lift it up and it's just falling apart. So it's perfectly cooked. I like when my hams are that cooked that perfectly. And I haven't done anything to this. Like I said, I was going to, I just ran out of time and kind of just forgot about it. But I did put some,
You good?
burnt my thumb. Okay, so I did just put a bit of honey, probably about 3 or 4 tablespoons of honey, and a little bit of water. And I've got a lot of liquid here. It's gonna make a really nice ham gravy. I'm trying not to use my hand because I burnt my thumb and I just licked my thumb, so I'm gonna keep my left hand up so I won't be tempted to grab anything with it. Oh, my thumb is throbbing. So I just want to lift this stuff up and then go get my thumb running underwater. I burnt myself a few times today on the oven. Excuse me. And on the oven, this is the first time I burnt myself actually on actual food. Oh, excuse me. So I'm just gonna finish lifting up my turkey, or no, the ham, and then I will lift up the turkey, and I'll just be back in 1 second. All right, I've got the ham all lifted up. It tastes excellent. I've got a lot of good drippings. Hard to see. My roaster pan is probably about a good third, maybe half full of some good dripping. So I'm gonna let this cool down because I can do some really good stuff with this. I've already made 6 cups of gravy, but I will save this because we'll probably need gravy for tomorrow. Also, I want to make a soup, so I might save some of this to add to give the soup some good flavor later this week. I'm just going to move this to the side. I hear the ham doing stuff, and it's just sliding off the bone more as I'm just doing a few things here. Now I'm going to bring the turkey over. Here's my turkey. And it is cooked perfectly. And I've got my little meat fork thing, same thing. I'm just going to lift this up off of this pan. I've got some good drippings in here too. So there is my turkey and my ham, and that's all I do with the meat. My husband's the one who carves them up. Now I will say, if you do notice it's missing a wing, I buy the utility turkeys. They're a little cheaper. This one's missing a wing. I've had them in past where you're missing pieces or extra pieces. I had one time where we had 4 drumsticks one time. So I'm just going to take this piece of tin foil and just going to cover my ham and my turkey back up. I set these in the oven. My husband's going to be home soon and he can start carving the meat. That's his only main job, is to carve the meat. So I will be back in just a few moments. My stuffing is done, but I left it in the oven and I kind of burned it a bit. So it's moist, but has no flavor. So I'm going to make a couple boxes of stovetop stuffing and mix this with that. So I'm going to do that right now. I know my animals are knocking my tripod over. trying to get past here, so I'll just be 1 second while I get everything I need for the stuffing. Alright, so I have, just at this second, there's a service vehicle going right past my house. Sorry, just bumped my camera. Okay, so I'm gonna make some stovetop stuffing. I've got 2 boxes of it, just to kind of fix my stuffing that I made. So in here, I've already got about 4 cups of water and some butter. I'm trying to see how much. So I need it says 3/4 of a cup of water and 2 tablespoons of margarine for 1 pouch. So I'm making 2 pouches plus whatever stuffing I had already made. So I decided 4 cups of water is probably what I need. If it's too much water, I've got another pouch of the stuffing that I can add. I'm going to add these 2 pouches. I've done this where I've made stuffing and something goes wrong with my stuffing, but I always have the stovetop stuffing just in case. Stirred too fast. Okay, now I'm just going to pour my stuffing in here. My stuffing is moist, except near the top it kind of burnt, but then there was like no flavor coming through when I had tasted it. So I'm just trying to see if I can cook it to get some good flavor. Oops, I gotta turn this down now. Okay, so it says just stir in contents and poach until well moistened, cover and remove from heat. So I'm just going to stir this in, see if I need any more liquid. I don't think I do. Remove from heat, so my stove is off. And I will slide it over a burner. I'm going to set my kettle here. It's probably blocked the view for a second, but not really. The burner's been on and off so many times today. It is just so hot. I don't want to burn myself. So I've got this all stirred in. I might need to add a little more water. I think I do. I'm going to add a little more water to this. A little more than half a cup. There, that seems a bit better. It's all now really well moistened. Let's give this a good stir. And I'm just going to let this sit for a few minutes, and then there my stuffing will be made. I think part of it was I had started the stuffing earlier and then it got set to the side and it just kind of dried out before I got back to it. It was also just in the oven just like 5 minutes too long. So just again, busy doing something, I kind of forgot to get to it. But there we go, we got the stuffing. And I said I just have to cover this and leave it for a few minutes, so I will do that. Okay, I've fixed my stuffing, and I think that is it. I've got to come back and do the buns, so I'll be back in a moment to finish the bun. Alright, I am back now to do the rest of the buns. My daughter's with me, so we've let this double in size. Now she gets to punch it down, is what she's wanted to do.
That's fine.
Okay, now we're going to pull it out of here. Now we have to spray the pan. Can't think of the word pan or dish. Your baking dish. Spray it good. Oven preheated to 400. So now we're going to get this into about 15 equal sizes. I love my little dough cutter scraper tool. It says 15, but because I'm using this, I'll probably get 16. I'm going to roll each of these in kind of into a nice ball and then cut them in half again. So I can cut these into quarters now. They're small enough.
I think we have enough. You doubled it.
Okay, well, I like a nice sized dinner bun. I think that's a good size for like a little dinner bun biscuit. So we're just gonna roll them and drop them in the pan, just kind of next to each other. So as they bake, they kind of...
Is that pan too big?
No, you should all fit in here.
I don't think it's gonna be too big.
Just move the pan, as you can see. So it's just using a glass 9 by 13, like a casserole lasagna type dish. I think it's too big of a dish.
We have a smaller one.
Well, if we need to, we'll put these in a smaller one. We'll find out as we, roll these out and put them in here. It's a very easy recipe. You can get buns made, dinner buns within an hour. This will be a good sized pan.
Now we have to spread them out a bit more.
There.
That one is weirdly big.
This one looks too big, yes. Just take a little bit off. It does happen. I think one of those there was a little smaller. There. If you find any that just still looks too big, if you find any that are too big, just take a little bit of dough off and put it on any that looks a little small.
Where do I put it?
Well, I'm rows of 4.
Well, it's not going to be rows of 4. I don't know what we did.
I don't know. I was putting them in and then... It's okay. I guess we'll just kind of fit these in like that. See? A little chunk of dough. Stick some here and some
It's not
here.
going to stick on.
Okay. So now we've got our buns made. We got 4, 8, 12, 16, 24, 28, 9, 30, 32. So we got 32 buns out of the recipe. So next step is we cover these with a damp paper towel and let them raise again for another 15-20 minutes. That's about how long it takes to preheat the oven. So I'll be back when I go to put these in the oven. Right, so here are the buns. They've been waiting just a little more than 20 minutes. I think it's close to 35 minutes. So I'm going to put them in the oven and they take 15-20 minutes. So I'll be back when I pull these out and then I will show everything I made for Thanksgiving dinner. Okay, there's the dinner buns. I've just taken them out. I'm just going to have to brush them with some butter, melted butter. And I got my steamed asparagus, the Brussels sprouts and onions, my gravy, beets and carrots, cranberry sauce, the potatoes, mashed potatoes, the stuffing, the rutabaga, and of course the ham and turkey. And I've got a salad and, Alright, got a salad made, and then over here we've got all our different desserts. So I've got the cookies, and we got our cracker platters. I still have to grab the cake. It's still in the fridge. I'm not quite bringing that out quite yet, but I will show it to you in a moment. And of course the salad and the cheese platter. So I'll be back when I get the rest of this stuff brought out. Alright, so here is our cracker and dessert table. We've got this fancy pumpkin pie. And to go with it, my daughter whipped up some whipped cream and we added some pumpkin pie spices in there so people can just add it themselves. Got different cookies. We got pumpkin spice cookies, maple, chocolate mint, coffee, the mocha fudge coffee, and just fudge. And then the cinnamon cookies and different types of crackers. And then over here, what I usually just do for our punch is a mix of ginger ale and cranberry cocktail. So it's 1 pop bottle, so like 2 liters of the cranberry ginger ale, and about 2 liters of the 2 liters of the ginger ale mixed with 2 liters of the cranberry cocktail juice. So, just wanted to again say thank you to everybody who's been watching my channels and subscribing to my channels, and just another big thank you, and I guess happy Thanksgiving to all my Canadian viewers and friends, and I will see you all in my next videos. Bye.